Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another episode of Sawdust Talk. We've got a really cool guest for you guys tonight. We are going to get everybody in and see what happens. Let's see if I can break this on the first try. I've never actually run a live before. Let's see. All right, I just invited Kamani and I invited John, my man.
Yo, what's going on?
Not a lot. How you doing today?
I can't complain. Other than my little stand that I typically use is not charged, but that's my fault. So
Ridiculous. You got to be ready for stuff like this.
yeah. Well, I was just watching your story right before this. What's up, man?
Oh,
What's up?
yeah. I have no idea if that rabbit is still in here or not. I have no idea. I hope it's gone, but it's been in here for a couple hours today, and it's making its way like all the way around the shop because I keep finding like just rabbit turds everywhere.
Yeah.
When I saw the story, I was trying to figure out why you
Hello.
didn't garage door crack so it could like sneak back out.
I did,
Yeah.
but the problem was like it got to the front corner, and I have like a wood pile there, and so it's a death maze, and it really liked just running back under the 500 to 1,000 pounds of wood that I have. So I think it's gone. The other risk is leaving it open, and suddenly I have more rabbits, not less rabbits. So
I have a suggestion, and it just came to me, is put some flour on the ground and just kind of see if there's a path and direction of their feet.
yeah, that could work. I mean, I've got sawdust everywhere, so.
Am I?
So, all right. Is what frozen?
Oh, somebody's frozen.
Everybody's moving for me.
Yep, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, I've got
Well, let's get.
me and you up here up top, Braden, for me is good, and then everybody else is glitchy.
I bet it.
Which
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, Paul said all of us are lagging.
nobody asked Paul anything.
Well, let's get started. We've got John from Character Red Workshop here today. He is an okay guy that knows all about social media and does some woodworking, and I'm sure has some other interesting things to say about himself. So why don't we start off there? John, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your story?
Okay. All right. It'd probably be quick. So I'm an active duty Marine. I've been an active duty Marine for 15 years. I started doing woodworking very late. I think I was 27 or 28. I'm 34 now. I built a pantry for the first house that I bought. That was my first woodworking project ever. And it really just it snowballed from there. That pantry project was like really I'd been praying to about finding something that would bring me joy, and woodworking happened to be it. And then I use a lot of the skills that I got on recruiting duty to use social media and promote my business. So and pretty much every platform I'm on, I can't say that I'm active, but every platform I'm on, yeah, I don't know. Is that good?
Seems good to me.
Yep.
For me.
And I'm sorry, I totally forgot. I don't think any of us introduced ourselves because I guess I just totally forgot how to do all this. I'm Braden with Little Bug Woodworking. I work with a little bit of CNC. I kind of make it all up as I go and hope that there's wood involved. So I'll kick it over to Kamani, who's down here for me.
Yeah. I'm Kimani with Van Street Designs. I do pretty much a little bit of everything as well: CNC, epoxy, cutting board. So I kind of bounce around to whatever suits my fancy that week. So yeah, and I'll kick it over to Katrina.
Katrina from Upper North Washington State. I pretty much work in laser, CNC, paint, and any odds and ends that people want me to do. And I'm starting to dabble into cutting boards.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So, John, I guess I want to start. How did the name Character Red come to be? Like, how did you get started with that? I don't think you've ever mentioned it to me.
So me and a buddy decided that we were going to. Actually, I decided. I brought all the stuff over to do this project that I wanted to do. But me and him did an American flag together. That was like my second project after the pantry, and started thinking like, okay, this could be a business if we could figure out this American flag thing. But we were painting the flag, and we happened to be drinking a lot, and I knocked over trying to grab my beer all this red paint, and it was like, all the sawdust was on the workbench and stuff like that. So, me being cheap and drunk, I was trying to scrape all of it back into the container. And my friends, they're like, dude, just let it go. This is, it's crap paint. I went on this huge rant just to make them laugh about it's Character Red paint, and we're going to upcharge for this specialized paint and all this stuff. And then we're trying to, come up with names, and everybody won't let it go. They won't let Character Red go. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of Character Red Workshop. But they kept on insisting. Every name I would throw out there, they were like, what about Character Red? And I'm like, I mean, I guess so. It's got a story behind it and stuff like that. Plus,
I mean, it's a history. It's who you are.
Yeah. There ain't no changing it now, I don't think.
No, unless you just go by John.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the meta verified thing that kind of makes you have to, change your name and do your whole profiles, where it's this mug instead of my logo or something like that. So, it's kind of halfway there now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotta do what feels right. So, John, people who are new here who don't know you, you spent part of your Marine duty. You spent a lot of time in Japan. So, how long were you there, and what kind of, I guess, skills in relation to woodworking or progress in your woodworking journey did you make while you were there?
So I spent 3 years over in Japan, over in Okinawa. I had it was a 2 Japanese car garage, but we parked a car in there half the time. So I had a 1 car Japanese garage that I built my shop out in, and a lot of the skills from woodworking, or that I have for woodworking, was learned over there. That's where I built my first workbench, which is still back here behind me. That's my workbench and my outfeed table. That's Japanese plywood. It's where I dabbled in French cleats and really fell in love with them, even though the movers broke all my French cleat tool holders on the way back. And I started dabbling in epoxy. I did my first pieces of like metal and wood and epoxy. And the good thing about being out there was you get paid for like a cost of living allowance. So I could use that and really, you know, buy some, materials and stuff like that, little extra stuff, so I could learn whatever skills that I wanted to do. Um, but mostly was the epoxy because it was always so warm over there. It was a tropical island, so I could always pour epoxy, outdoors, inside. It didn't really matter. So it was just kind of the perfect conditions, and then I continued epoxy after that. So
Cool.
social media too. I learned how to use social media over there, really, because I started out very like backwards. I decided that I was going to create a YouTube and was not getting any traction at all. And then I shifted and went to Instagram and started really using Instagram as like a test bed for videos and stuff like that before shorts and all that stuff was out. But yeah, Instagram was really like where I learned how to do like a lot of my, fancy edits and stuff like that. My first YouTube video was just like 13 minutes of me saying, I think I'm going to try this kind of thing. Yeah.
I have a question. So I saw that you just got the Shaper. What's it called? The Shaper Origin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like it so far?
I love it. I bought the shaper and the plate, and immediately once I tried it for the first time, I purchased the workstation. The workstation is over here to the left of me in the box. I'm planning on doing like a unboxing and everything like that. I've got quite a few of those videos. I'm going to do a review of the MG36 because that was the last YouTube video that I put out. But the shaper is just, it's amazing, but that is one tool that I haven't ran across too many tools that's really flustered me. The shaper was one of them, not because it's really that hard, because it's really like 3 simple steps. But when you turn a tool on and it asks for your Wi-Fi password right off the get, it intimidated me, and I watched like a week and a half of videos. And I was on Clubhouse with I think a few of you when I was pulling it out of the box. But
Did you ask
um,
Sean?
yeah, I asked him a couple of questions, mainly like how to turn it off because it doesn't have an off button. Which is crazy. $3,000 tool doesn't have an off button. You just unplug it. But I asked Sean, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you just unplug it. It's really that simple." But yeah, I just watched like a week and a half videos. Like after turning it on and doing the initial setup, I was like, I really don't want to mess this thing up. But it's been rocking and rolling. I haven't been in the shop that much, but I've done probably like 3 or 4 projects with it, and it's really fun.
I think I'm gonna see if they have a booth at the AWF next month when I go and try.
Yeah, for me it takes so I do a lot of computer work for the Marine Corps. So for me the shaper was because like when I had a Shipoko, I took a hobby where I could go out in the garage and get my hands dirty and stuff like that. And then I felt with the Shipoko and CNC work, I just ended up back on the computer. So I was spending however many hours at work on the computer, and then I was going home and designing all these flags and doing all this stuff on the computer and then watching a machine cut it. The shaper is kind of a way to where like I can design stuff on the iPhone or my iPad and just throw it over cut it real quick and add to projects. That's what I intend to use it on. So that way it cuts down on a lot of that computer work.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Can't wait to try it.
Yeah, it's a blast. It's definitely an expensive tool, but you know, it's really convenient because like when I'm creating my new shop, which I'm gonna have a new shop here probably within the next year and a half. I want to do like this tool cabinet that I have over to the side of me. Like I want to do custom stuff with the shaper and then also hand tools too. But my plan is never really to use the shaper just making a bunch of shaper projects. It's always to, you know, combine it with other things that I want to learn.
Yeah, makes sense.
So what is kind of the plan? I know you've been talking about the shop, you know, your shop plans on your lives. What's your dream shop that you're kind of working towards?
So I'm looking at land in East Tennessee, Kentucky area. I'm from Kentucky, and I'm looking at a barn dominium. I think that's kind of what I've settled on.
That's cool.
Yeah. For me, like the math is just kind of added up because the way the real estate market is, you're gonna pay $200,000 to $250,000 regardless for a house. So I think, you know, like if I just purchase some land for $20,000, then I've got, you know, $230,000 to spend on a barn dominium, and most of that will be, you know, in a shop.
Yeah.
It's going to be a multi-use, itty bitty living space, maybe. I don't know. But I feel like, you know, with that much money, because you really can't get any good like 3-bedroom house for less than $200,000. It's just not happening. So,
Gone.
yeah, the money math is adding up just to where it's like maybe just a barn dominium is the route to go, especially for me. I mean, it's just me. So,
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, you fix it up the way you want it.
yeah, just and the guys was even talking about they got one dude that's living in a camper. Like they got his garage done and he's got a camper in the garage and he's like outfitting his garage while they work on the house. And I was like, yeah, that's a possible thing. Gee, my email is like going haywire right now.
It's probably everybody in the comments also emailing you directly. I've never seen a live where so many people were fighting over the affections of the guest. You have quite the fan club.
Oh, it's a lot of our stoop peeps too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can barely see the comments. It was like really little. I can see like one at a time. I see Joey's Festool comment to Dylan. Yeah, I am too country for Atlanta. That's definitely for real right there.
I mean, the city, but once you get out of the city, it's all the same.
Yeah. I feel like that's how it is everywhere except for Kentucky. There's literally like Lexington, Louisville, and then nothing.
What part of Kentucky did you live? Or Aaron?
You know where
say
Cumberland Gap is? Where
where?
Daniel Boone crossed into Kentucky?
I think Lainey was telling me about that.
Yeah, so it's like the gateway to the west. It's a little town. Well, I could say Middlesboro, Kentucky, but you probably wouldn't.
Is that by
You probably don't know.
Ashland?
No, Ashland's probably about 3 hours from me.
Oh, okay.
I'm about 3 or 4 hours from Lexington, but I'm like right on that tip where Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia meet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so you're on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, like I'm like 40 minutes from going through the tunnel that goes into Tennessee.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law lives in was it Paducah?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been
So,
out
but
to Paducah a couple times to hunt.
so yeah, she's all the way out there. But I think we've convinced her to potentially move over to. Well, I'm in Florida right now, but convinced her to move over to the West Coast. So
I really want to travel and see the West Coast. I don't think I would want to move there, but I think the camper idea is a good idea to go and make a loop, you know, make like a victory retirement lap or around the country or something.
that's the content right there, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Gonna Maker's tour.
Yeah. I gotta see if it shakes out.
Take your shaper and just CNC on the road. Just do
Yeah.
content on at like truck stop bathrooms.
You're just gone with.
take my shaper and a generator and be like on the Hoover Dam.
The bathroom
Carving my
lock
name in.
Yeah, the bathroom door lock doesn't lock at this truck stop, so I'm gonna CNC out a real quick lock.
Yeah.
Sharpie graffiti in the stall is out. It's all shaper graffiti now.
Yeah. Putting some hardware that way I can put some hinges in a door. And they can open it up and be like, Character Red was here.
For a good time.
Gotta put a sticker. Gotta have your logo.
Yeah, that's all it is a sticker. It's like two doors.
It's like Duresta will spray paint his name when they go on road trips on the ground.
Yeah, you could just shaper it into walls.
Yeah.
So I've been looking through your Instagram, and you have a lot of like production value that you put into your posts and your content that I don't see with a lot of other people. How did you get into that sort of stuff, or like how do you do it?
I've always been big into music, and when they started allowing us to add music into reels, I was like, man, because like I never get in my truck or anything without music on. So I think it's super cool, you know, like when you can take, like, most of my stuff revolves around like beats in a song or something like that. I do a lot of stuff with like hip hop, and I don't know, that's kind of like where most of my inspiration comes from. But when I first started out, I was terrible at video, and then I was looking at like, okay, you're making something beautiful with your hands. Why don't you also focus on making something beautiful out of the video that you're grabbing? Because you can make it more than just throwing some crap together, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of, I don't do it all the time, but that's kind of how I look at it, is like if I capture like an overhead or something like that, like, you know, pull it back, just do a couple of little extra things, because I feel like those posts, people look at them more. And I think that's really what's helped my account a lot, is people don't know what they're going to get whenever I post. So sometimes it's going to be something about a tool or something like that, but most of the time, people could probably sense like how I'm feeling or how I'm doing by whatever my post is, you know, because it'll reflect in the music that I'm listening to or something like that.
I hear that. I'm all about music.
Yeah. That's really a lot of it. It's just music based.
Yep.
So what, I mean, if you're listening to music all the time, what's the go-to song?
Go-to song. I like a lot of NF. I listen to NF a lot. I listen to a lot of stuff that motivates me. You know, obviously Eminem, but I don't know if I got a go-to song. I don't even know if I got a go-to genre. Um, the only genre that I don't listen to is bluegrass. So I know it's
The guy
surprising. The
from Kentucky
Kentucky guy,
doesn't want the banjo. There's
it's
the twist of the whole episode.
I feel like it's synonymous with, people, thinking that, we're, in relationships with our cousins and stuff like that. So I just can't do the banjo stuff. Yeah.
My wife will stop what she's doing if she hears a song that has a steel guitar in it. She would, I don't, something in her little country soul. She's just like, stop, it's a steel guitar. She'll just listen to the song.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's really the only genre that I don't listen to. My playlist is always on shuffle, and it's always like classical, and then there'll be like Dr. Dre, and then it'll go to Avenged Sevenfold. Yeah, I mean, if you scroll back through my posts, you'll see that. I mean, there's heavy metal all the way through.
High school playlist.
Yeah. There's actually Michael Prince is a violinist that's on Instagram. I've used a ton of his stuff, but he does like classical music. But he also does trap symphony,
Mm.
and creates them into hip hop classical songs. And I've used his stuff probably like 20 times.
I'm gonna go
But
check that out because there's another guy who does the same, something similar with the xylophone, xylophone and drum beats. But he's been doing like trap style music or whatever, like remixes or remix versions of songs through the xylophone and like just one cymbal and a snare drum. So I got a couple of his bookmark for my next series of reels when it syncs up.
yeah, he does. The guy that I'm talking about does all his stuff with just a violin. And I think he's got another guy that he's going to start using that's got another instrument, and they're going to start doing some stuff together. But I just thought it was a unique, and I mean, really, it helps another creator that's on Instagram that's not in the woodworking community, but allows me to do stuff, because there's a lot of times I'll listen to his posts and I'll be like, okay, I could see doing this with, some like slow motion or something like that. But a majority of all my like posts is like I listen to a song and I'm already visualizing what I've recorded. And a majority of the time I don't even know that that's what it's going to be until I'm listening to the song, and I'm like, dang, I got the perfect clip for that.
Yeah. I hate that when I hear a song and I'm like, oh, that would be a cool reel. And then like the next day I'm like, I can't remember what it was.
I write it down. I keep a planner and I write down ideas and I write down music. And that's
cool.
pretty much all that I write down, because I'm like you, like I'll forget it and then it drives me crazy, because I'll be like on the was that.
I'll have notes open in my iPhone, and if I remember, instead of writing it down, I'll do a voice message part of my notes. So
Yeah, that's smart. I'm like old school, and recruiting duty, they had us writing in planners and stuff like that. So that's, if I don't write it down, I'll forget it.
yeah.
I've usually if I'm like doom scrolling and I find that song, like I bookmark the entire, so I can go back and watch the video, because that'll remind me what I wanted to do and mix it with that song.
Yeah.
But there's a project I have in my head that popped up over the last couple of days that I've been like obsessing over, and I'm working on the background stuff for it right now. But I went down and I wrote down every idea that I had because it's a very unique thing, and it's a targeted thing. And so I had to, like, while it was fresh in my head, because I knew if I like got on a plane, got here, and then tried to work on it, I'd forget half the stuff I was trying to do, and then I just probably wouldn't want to do the project anymore because it didn't feel as right anymore because I lost all the good momentum that I had. So yeah, there's a piece of paper like with scribbles sitting on my couch right now of like 8 ideas that are all going to go into this one video.
Yeah. I did one time where it was Avenged Sevenfold's Critical Acclaim, and it's so Critical Acclaim has got a slow part to it, and I was on the joiner at the Courtney Woodshop. It's big, like 16-inch joiner, and everybody made comments about it. That and the bandsaw, but it goes on the slow part, and then on the fast part, whenever it starts into the drums and the guitar, I sped it up and I put a lot of like blur and stuff in it. That way it just looks super fast. And then they've got these like guitar riffs where it really like hits at a certain point. And I started flashing the hammers that I was making in the videos in there, but it's only like a 0.3 of a second. And then it goes back to that like drum and other guitar, but it would do that for like 5 more seconds, and then it would do another one, and I'd flash it, and that was a really popular post that I did. But it took forever to edit. And I was sitting on my phone like, okay, that one I had to edit in Final Cut. I couldn't do that one in Instagram.
So do you a lot of your editing in Instagram?
Yeah, I do a lot in Instagram. There's some things that I'll do in Final Cut. Typically, if I want to enhance a post, I will edit it in Instagram and get it synced to my audio, or get it into like little clips or something, and then export it, and then I'll throw it over to my MacBook, and I'll do whatever edits that I have. And as long as you don't shrink it, you're in with your audio. But there was one of the posts that for the flags that I wanted to add some stuff in, and I cut it in specific portions to where I could like zoom out, zoom in, and then cut real quick. But just stuff. Instagram's got a pretty powerful editor, but Final Cut definitely helps me out sometimes.
Yeah, I do some stuff in the reel, but it's lacking so many other things. But I heard that they hide your stuff if you don't use the app, and I don't know how true that is.
I think it's a little hit or miss. I've had stuff, which I don't know if the fundraiser posts I can really count, because those seem to do better regardless, because it's obviously attached to a fundraiser and more people want to comment on it, or people go to it and donate to the fundraiser. So those posts, like the initial fundraiser post that I posted, it's still gaining views. It's still getting likes. It's slowly but surely, but and I've never had reels like that. So, but there's a lot of those that I did in Final Cut. But some of the other ones that I've done that's not tied to it is definitely suffered, because I don't think I did it. I didn't do it in Instagram. But I mean, any post can flop. Like any post can go viral. My most viral Pinterest post is a video from Snapchat that my buddy recorded. It's like 4.5 million views, and it's literally just me putting some burn marks, into the American flag to expose the grain a little bit more.
Is it like a quick video and that's it?
Yeah,
it's like a little quick
32 seconds, no editing, no nothing.
I didn't even think Pinterest was used that way. I always just thought it was for like, like a sticky note.
Pinterest is primarily used for inspiration.
Mhm.
So, um, that video just kind of like he moved around, and I think it just shows because in the video, right before the video, I'm telling him how I do the stripe, and then I was like, oh, I go back right here because there's a little bit more that I can see. But I told him that, and then he recorded it, and I think that's what it is. It's just people learn from that one. Oh, dang, Dylan's over here. Got the jokes.
So we're about to the halfway mark. Just a reminder to everybody, if you guys have questions, to make sure to put them down here in the question box, and we'll hit those up at the end. But just a little taste. Jeff from Maker's Way asked, John, why do they call you the, quote, Dollar General Maker's Way?
Oh, I see. He's forgot the name that he dubbed me, because he dubbed me that the Dollar General Jeff. There's a lot of people that thought we looked very similar at Workbench Con. I mean, which we're both short, both have sleeve tattoos. I mean, I guess, are we both country? I don't know. We have different accents, but
Maybe it's you guys got the same charismatic energy.
Yeah, we did have a lot of energy. That's my brother right there, but he's got the neck tat, so I was calling him Penitentiary John.
Jeff, we miss you, man. I haven't seen you forever.
Well, it looks like you've managed to keep your blue check mark. It looks like Jeff lost his also. So
yeah, I was I was so disappointed when it went away. That and the extra underscore.
So you mentioned Workbench Con and you mentioned Pinterest, and you taught at one of the expert tables about Pinterest. How did you get into that, and what's kind of the rundown on Pinterest? Because I don't think many people think of where can I grow my social media following and my sales, and I don't think many people think Pinterest.
I got into Workbench Con. They hosted their little Google form of submit your idea, and you can become a speaker. And I filled it out and was like, there's no shot that I'm gonna be a speaker. They're not gonna select me. And then one day I was walking around Home Depot and I got the email, and literally, walked around Home Depot for like an hour, like, oh my God, is this happening? I was trying to respond, and then I walked out and forgot what I went there for, and then had to come back. But yeah, I just pitched on the idea, and they wanted to do the expert desk. I pitched it to them again this year to do an actual class, of a full class, because I think there was like 12 people that came by, which were mostly my friends. But there was people that came by, and I think there's a lot of stuff that people don't realize Pinterest enables you to do. It's like you can link your like actual post or like your actual product in the actual post, and it'll pop up just like it's like on my screen right here. It'll pop up like my finger and say, hey, do you want to buy this? And a lot of stuff that I do with it is not even like for the product that I'm making. If the product's already sold, but it's a cutting board or a charcuterie board, I made these little charcuterie board care cards that you can fill out for woodworkers. And it's literally 90% of the information is filled out, and they just go into Canva and plug their logo and stuff in, and it takes them like 5 minutes, and they can print these out. That's mainly what I flash up on mine, is those little care cards, and that's my number one seller on Etsy. It's like, I think I've got like 113 sales, and I think 105 are those stupid things. Like, but it's just something that I'm not banking on, selling any of them, but I made that template, and then I never have to fool with it again. And when someone buys it off Etsy, they just digital downloads, and if they like it, then they review it. Unless they don't have Canva, and then they leave me a negative review, and I can't get Etsy to take that down.
He wanted me to do extra work.
Yeah. It was like, in the review, it was like, she even said it was her fault. And Etsy was like, sorry, everyone's entitled to their opinion about the product. And I was like, she said she was in a hurry. It was her fault. Yeah. Can't please everybody, though.
Yeah.
True story. No. I think we had one. Let me double check. We have one more question from Paul. When will we get the character red pigment from eye candy?
Oh, I need to talk to Jeff. Jeff just did a live for the board. He bought a board from me. It was like one of the red boards, and I need to talk to him because I would really want to see if we can develop a ultra shift pigment. And I don't even know the science behind that stuff, because honestly, it amazes me every time I'm looking at the ultra shift stuff, because it's a wild shift, and video doesn't even do it justice. With some of that like purple to like a blue, but they do a lot of that stuff with their what is it? Their car. They started out as a car paint and company, and they were painting cars over in Okinawa, and that's how I found them. And then I talked to Jeff one night, and he was like, "Yeah, we're from Okinawa, but I need to talk to him because I'd love to do like a red color shift. If they could do red and black or something like that, because everybody knows I've got this like red and black thing going on."
Yeah.
I'd buy it.
Yeah, I've never looked at this pigment, but I now am in the process of ordering some. So thanks for that.
The Ultra Shift?
Yeah.
Use code character red, and you can get 10% off.
You should have that pinned at the bottom for guests when they have an affiliate code. Have it at the bottom as a courtesy to guests.
Can you pin stuff like that?
I think the administrator of the account can.
I'll just
Yeah, I think you
hold
can.
up a piece of paper the whole
Yeah.
time.
It should be easy. If people want a link, they can go to my profile on the link tree, and it'll take it right to the eye candy thing. But I mean, that ultra shift stuff is pretty expensive. I'm like, especially if you're looking at like 40 grams or 20 grams. I think they might only sell it in 20 gram.
Yeah, it's like the 25 and the 50 grams.
Yeah, but it's like $140 or something like that. It's literally like $12 a gram. It's
40 bucks.
It's like
5 grams.
Yeah, $40 for 5 grams. But I bought all my ultra shifts. I bought just 1 gram packets and made those boards that I made for that craft show. And as soon as I poured them, I was like, "Damn it, Jeff!" Like, because I mean, it's just like every way you look at it, with the light catching it, is something different in it. And I poured a regular color after that, and was like, "No, this ain't it."
Do Do you like
This is
alcohol
trash.
dyes or do you prefer pigments?
The what?
Do you like alcohol dyes or do you just prefer pigment?
Um, I prefer pigment, but I have used what's the little
Alcohol inks or the
Mixol?
Mixol, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've used Mixol, the Workbench Con flag that me and Dylan did. Dylan and I, that was Mixol. Yeah, I've never tried those.
Yeah, I got
Um,
these at Haven last year from Total Boat.
okay, yeah. Um, I would imagine that those would be kind of more like. Did you ever see Sam's stuff that she did with the
DIY hunters.
blocks and stuff? No,
Oh,
Sam,
Sam, Woolly
Woolly
Petals.
Petals. Her like
Yeah,
stacking blocks and stuff. Like
those
I
are
would
super
assume.
cute.
Yeah, I would assume that's more of what it would be like, the
Yeah,
colors and stuff. But I've never played with this stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, I bought a few of those colors probably maybe like a year, almost 2 years ago. They were on like a whatever, or like a random holiday sale, so I went and got like a I think probably like the 1 gram packet when they were like on super duper sale. So um,
Mix all.
yeah, oh no, the eye candy
Mm-hmm.
color. There's I'm doing my first clock build, epoxy clock build, and I think I'm gonna use that as a top layer just to add a color shift to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that'd be cool. I really don't like using the regular colors anymore after that, but it's just so expensive. You got to have somebody that wants the color and really to be able to continue to pump stuff out with that stuff. But it's super cool.
Yeah.
Luckily, a little bit of it goes a long way, but if you want that deep impact, you gotta you gotta get a lot of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I still don't understand the science of how much pigment to use, so I just dump it in and hope it all works out.
Oh, Jess Crow would say just a little bit at a time, little bits. I
Uh,
don't do epoxy very often, so
I
Well,
I do.
you can't subscribe by my philosophy. I do a lot of math in the Marine Corps and the computer work, so a lot of my woodworking is just like I don't weigh out my epoxy. I don't, you know, I just say screw it, throw my pigment in.
I don't measure the pigment, but I have recently started weighing out my epoxy because I went through a streak of like 4 boards where I mixed the wrong balance like every single time. And then my last one was exactly the right amount, but I think I put in too much liquid dye and it threw it off again. And now I just I measure everything with epoxy.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm which is strange because I'm like super crazy about the wood, like and measuring wood before I cut it and stuff like that. Like I messed up one of the cuts or two of the cuts with Dylan on our on the flag bases and everything. And like I knew it as soon as I cut it, and but I was like one of the rare times when I didn't, like just double check it. I think that's what takes me the longest is I'm not constantly double checking it. But epoxy, like the more expensive stuff, I'm just like throw some pigment in and start mixing it, and luckily it works out for me most of the time.
Someone asked, do y'all measure the wood based on weight or always by volume?
I typically measure it by the girth. It is almost midnight.
That's funny.
um, I don't know.
Oh, epoxy.
Yeah,
Not wood, epoxy.
yeah, yeah. I assume
Yeah.
I do. I've done it both ways. When you do it by weight, there's like a different ratio, like 100% to like a 83% kind of weight ratio. So I just stopped doing that because I hated doing math. And I just did it I just do it by volume. So if it's a 2-to-1, I just look at the lines. So I get my 2-to-1, mix them together. And I haven't had anything intentionally mess up. So my volumes have always mixed right. The only problem I've had was if I left it in the container too long and then it exothermed on me. But otherwise, it was mixed properly.
Yeah, I did
Wait,
the same thing. Lines.
if you do it by weight, you have to do more math. I've got a 1-to-1, and I'm literally just making sure that I just double it.
Yeah, for the 1-to-1s, that's it. But if you do the
Oh,
two
thank
to
God.
yeah, the 2-to-1s have for most of them I've seen it's like a different ratio. So like 100% of one is really like 100% of the resin, and it's like 83% of the hardener, like because they're one's thicker than the other. So like I said, I just stopped doing that and just did
Yeah,
straight.
one's more dense.
Yeah, so I just did a straight 2-to-1, and I haven't had any problems with it.
Yeah, or there's a there's a epoxy that I use, Floor Guard products, their stuff, but that stuff is like liquid, like it's like water, both the hardener and the resin. But I'm moving more towards just getting like a 3-gallon kit and mixing it in a 5-gallon bucket and then kind of, dipping out of that or something. I don't know, but I'm just tired of mixing tons and tons of epoxy in like small little batches.
Yeah, like the cups, that gets real annoying.
Yeah.
They have that pumping system Total Boat carries.
I've been looking at that, and they've almost got me convinced that the $400 for a pump system would be worth it just to not have to do any of the math anymore.
Derek from Malden, because he has it and he's been using it for a while.
Yeah.
Thing looks pretty good, and then there's a couple other companies that they also have a pump system. But yeah, I would love if they just had like a one-hitter epoxy kit where if like on a small pour, it's literally pre-measured. You just like drop out of the syringe, and it gives you like a half a cup or a cup worth of like epoxy. You just go. Like,
yeah, I do a lot of crafters epoxy.
Yeah,
They're for like little stuff. I don't have it in here anymore, but I had this like paddle, and there was like a little knot once I was sanding it, and I've got this 30-minute, like if you go to Hobby Lobby, the 30-minute crafter epoxy, it'll say slow cure time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 30 minutes, and it cracks me up because crafters,
Yeah.
I'm over here waiting 3 to 5 days, and they're over here with their 30-minute slow cure. But then I just mix it up and throw whatever pigment in it, and just kind of take my little stick that they give you and just smear it on in there. And I've seen the same results as, because I've been pouring like 5 little of those little bitty cups or whatever, and trying to do that. And I was like, man, I'm tired of this. So I just mix it up on cardboard.
There you go.
So go ahead, Monty.
I was just checking to see if we had any other questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're getting down to the last couple minutes. We got about 6 minutes left. So, John, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about. You have a lot of your content based on a charity that I wanted to give you a chance to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. So Dylan, Sandman, he's down in the audience. Him and I, we collaborated. We started doing these lives shortly after I moved back to America. And if you guys don't know, we're both Marines, and for a long time I struggled with PTSD, depression, and stuff like that. So it Stop Soldier suicide is something that is near and dear to my heart and Dylan's, because like, you know, I've been down in that very dark place, and fortunately, the man upstairs brought me out of that, and I think the reason why he did is for this, and to help veterans. So I'm going to be a veteran myself here very soon. I want to eventually make a maker space, which is the reason why I'm looking at the barn dominium and trying to get as much space for the shop as possible. But I want to share with vets, you know, the therapeutic qualities of woodworking, and teach them how to do something. And you know, eventually I want to move. I want to move into getting sponsors to sponsor vets to come in. And this was the first step, was just me and Dylan coming together, making these flags. We made one flag for each month. Anybody that donates throughout the month gets entered. $5 gets you one entry. You know, just kind of give back to people for donating out of the kindness of their hearts.
That's pretty cool.
And thank you. And the lumber was donated. Every flag has the lumber store and mine and Dylan's logo on it. The only one that was different was the Workbench Con flag that went out to, I think, Steph. Dylan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Stephanie. But we do a drawing every single month, and I'm getting ready to send another one off for the May one here probably tomorrow. I'm making a UPS run.
That's pretty.
But yeah, yeah. So you know, we've got it on our Instagrams. People can donate directly to that fundraiser on Instagram, and that way there's no exchanging of funds. Meta or Facebook group, whatever they're calling themselves now, they hold those funds until the fundraiser is over. So there's no like, I get money or anything like that. It goes straight to, they don't even cut a fee.
Wow.
Yeah. Meta doesn't take a fee or anything like that. It goes straight to the charity as long as it's a recognized charity.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so it goes straight to who you want it to go to. So there's no doubt that, I mean, I think we're at like 6,100 and some, like $6,100 so far, and it's this community never ceases to amaze me. I know, like, me and Dylan's talked about it a lot. I didn't even know if there was going to be $600 donated to that thing. We just set it at a lofty goal, and you know, once I set it, I donated to it myself, put my money where my mouth is, and then the woodworking communities took over and done the rest. And you know, I hope that we can change one person's life to make them stay around and you know, possibly come and learn something.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's great to hear that story. I didn't realize all that.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't really talk about well, I mean, I've started talking about my stuff a little bit more, but I used to be very reserved, very like, you know, therapies for weak people and this and that, and you know, I couldn't be farther from the truth. I go and see a therapist every 2 weeks, and it is by far, like, it, you know, helps me out immensely. And I think that's just, you know, like military culture, and even men just in general in America. You know, we're not meant to show emotion, or we're groomed to not that's weakness. And, that's the reason why, things happen and you're like, oh, I never knew that guy was going through anything.
Yeah.
It's because he's been groomed his whole life not to talk about it, to not show any emotion and stuff like that. So, the more we can raise awareness and make it a normal thing, maybe 44 vets a day won't be taking their own lives after they returned from combat.
Yeah.
So just to recap, if people want to get involved with that, the links are on your
Instagram, Dylan's Instagram. You can share it. You can also, if you go to it, you can support it, and it will go onto your profile, and it'll you won't be able to see who donates to it or anything like that, but you'll be able to see it on your profile and track the numbers as it goes up. We started out with a $5,000 goal. We upped it to $7,500 because we were going to do a new charity like every quarter or something like that, but we kind of settled on Stop Soldier Suicide for the first half of the year to see how that went.
Yeah.
And then assess from there.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you, guys.
Well, that's awesome. We are coming up and past the hour, so I guess do we have any final questions? Katrina, you have anything?
Are you going to make our camp?
I don't know. I don't know yet. So I requested my retirement date to be 30 September. It's got to be on the last day of the month for the program that I'm submitting for. So if it gets approved, it'll probably be a hard thing to swing. If it gets denied, it'll probably be a hard thing to swing. But I'm not saying no, because I really want to go.
Yeah.
I really want to be at as many events as I can, but I'm just kind of feeling it out.
Yeah, I hope to see you there.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see you guys again.
Kamani, what you got?
No, I don't have a question. I just want to say thanks, John, for the work you're putting into the charity, the work you're putting into supporting the maker community and the other makers, and those sweet dance moves you put out on the dance floor.
Thanks, man.
Those dance moves are like a core memory of mine.
Yeah,
from Workbench Con.
I'm never gonna live those down. I was just talking to
sad.
Christy the other day, and she's like, "Hey, what's up, Dance King?" I was like,
You didn't even stop when you were in line getting drinks.
I had a little too much drinky.
Well, all right. So let's wrap it up. Thanks, John, for coming on. It was great. It was great hearing about you and the charity and kind of how you've gotten here. So one way that TJ has taught me to wrap these things up, and I like it, is if you had to share some inspiring words to inspire everybody to go out and work out in their shop and make something, what would you tell them? Go.
Just because people cannot see your vision doesn't mean it's not going to come true. Invest now, and 3 to 5 years down the road, you will see it pay off. I'm speaking from someone that's about 3 to 5 years into this journey. 5 years into this journey, and 3 solid years on Instagram. So if you put in the work, it'll happen. Yeah, and don't forget to have a good personality.
And there you have it. Have a great personality. So let's wrap it up. Thanks everybody for joining. Hope you guys all have a great night. Make sure you go follow John at Character Red Workshop. If you click the little button up here, there's a little arrow, and you can follow everybody that's on right now until in the next like 13 seconds when I end it. So be quick. So good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Thanks, guys, for having me.
thanks.
John,
Bye.
bye.
No, you hang up first.
I was gonna say, how do I hang this thing up?